Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a long awaited live stream on YouTube. And for today's lesson, we're going to focus on what is going on with SwiftUI lately. If you guys haven't noticed, what Apple tends to do every year with the but the Xcode releases is that they push out a new release of Xcode every about 2 weeks or so. Today we just got news of, let's see what we got here. Let me see if I can bring up the Apple developer website. So apple.com. Let's see what you got over here. Developer.apple.com. Download. So I am looking at the current website. So let's go over and bring it to the Chrome browser. So the Chrome browser, and let's see, are you guys here? Okay, let's take this channel serious for a second here. We've got about 16 of you guys, and let me see. Okay, I am going to bring up the chat here, and then shrink myself down. Let's see, live chat. This guy is always not working correctly. So pop out chat, and here we go. Go you. I'm always moving things around, which is not good. Okay, that's not the right browser. So where are we? Where are you, pop-up chat? This is the pop-up chat, and here we go. Okay. Okay, and okay, there we are. Let's see. What's going on, everybody? I am just hanging out. I am inside of my living room right now. A lot of you guys, if you're wondering what's going on with the channel lately, there's nothing going on. Just doing a little bit of silly videos and keeping things a little bit lighthearted. Making sure we're not just focusing on programming the entire time. And not a lot of people are, well, most of everyone is very supportive and they have a sense of humor and they get what's going on. There are a very small minority of people that don't seem to understand parody and, videos that are just silly. So I'll let those guys, do their thing. I don't really take comments on the YouTube videos very seriously. So, the Professor Brain character. Professor Brain character, very funny. He's such a good character, but so many people misunderstand his true intention. I don't know why, but they just do. Alright, let's get serious. I'm not seeing the chat, so I don't have enough screens in this new setup. That's the problem. Okay, let's see what do we got here. Okay, we got some good comments. It's my favorite British streamer. Hello, Mark Mansour. How you doing? How you doing? Are we going to talk like a British person for the entire stream today? Oh, I cannot do a good British accent, but it's the best I can do, so you'll have to live with it today. I don't know. That's like a combination of, like a New York, and then a really bad British accent. I've been watching a lot of British films and YouTube videos, trying to feel what their accent sounds like, trying to copy it, and it's hard. So I feel for you guys. If English isn't your first language, it's very hard to get the accents down. So Christopher Herndon says, "Hi Brian, if you're gonna talk in the British, talk with a Cockney accent. Those are the funnest. Those are the funnest." The Cockney accent. Oh, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Do I sound like a Cockney? Do I sound like a Cockney British person? Oh yeah. Am I peaking? I hope I'm not peaking. Don't tell me I'm peaking. Am I peeking? Moving to the UK? Oh, definitely not. Definitely not the UK. God, those accents make me cringe, but the content is as good as always. The accent reminds me of my teacher I had in grad school. An African accent. What does an African accent sound like? We have Donut Hand. Make your Chinese voice again. Do you guys find the Chinese accent offensive? That's an interesting question for me. What the heck am I doing? Jesus Christ. Yeah. The Chinese accent is very, very funny. So funny, you don't even know what hit you. Not really. Okay. Not so many people find it offensive. People that cannot take a joke find it so offensive. Chinese accent is the very best. You know why I talk like this? Because when I talk to my dad talks just like this. Same exact accent. That's why when I try to imitate my dad sounds just like this. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh my. But you know the SJW out on the internet. The SJW. You know the social justice warrior. Oh, 2019, you cannot offend the social justice warrior. Even though you Chinese, you cannot make fun of the Chinese accent. Don't know why. Social justice warrior they will come down and burn your house down. Burn it to the ground. You know what I mean? Yes. SJW. You know what the SJW stand for? No, not social justice warrior. More like SJW. SJW sound like social jerking. Okay. Windows 11. I'm having a blast. You're like a robot develop with AI. Amazing. I don't get why people get offended by accents. Here's a funny question. Why is it kind of offensive if you imitate a bad Chinese accent, but someone else imitating a British English accent, that seems to be okay? Why is one offensive and the other not? I don't know the answer to that question. So I don't know. Us white guys can't make fun like that. Okay, if you white person out there on the internet, let me tell you, white people, it is okay. You can make a Chinese accent just like this. Put it on the internet. Let me watch it, please. I want to see your Chinese accent. You go to the Chinese restaurant, you order chow mein, chow rice. You bring your Chinese girlfriend to the restaurant, then they think you have yellow fever. You guys know what yellow fever is, right? You guys know what the yellow fever? No, not the disease when you get sick. The white guy, they go out with the Asian yellow girl, so they're called the yellow fever. The yellow fever. Oh, Javier from Starbucks. My girlfriend is Filipino and people assume she is Chinese. That's not so bad. That means she's not very dark like the other Filipino girl. Because Asian Chinese skin a little brighter, not so dark like the Filipino skin. Because the Filipino live in the southern hemisphere,
Very, very sunny outside. You walk outside, you get the tan. You don't come back with the white skin. You come back with the black skin. You know? Yes, that's the jungle fever. Christopher Sanders, very, very correct. Mexican people also go out the sun. They do the farming. Pick the fruit, pick the strawberry, pick the apple, come back home. Come back, look like a dark potato. Mm, 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 mm. Oh no. Sorry, it's not offensive and it's wrong to do accents, but it has to be funny and it's not. Sorry, every accent, your own voice is better. Yeah. Uh, all women, all women are beautiful. Period. Have you done with SwiftUI the core data? Okay. On a serious note, everyone. Today we have a brand new release of some beta software available now on appledeveloper.com/download. You can find macOS Catalina 15 Beta 2. What's more important is if you go into the application window, you can find Xcode 11 Beta 2. If you're not aware of this brand new piece of software that just came out today, you can kind of see it says June 17th, 2019. Release notes tell you what some of the known issues are. Make sure you look at the big red warning that says, oh my god, this wasn't here a couple of minutes ago. Your secure token might be lost if File Vault is enabled on a non-APFC formatted volume while upgrading to macOS 15. And blah, blah, blah. That sounds pretty bad. Apple, get your act together. Don't put out such software that you can't trust. So some resolved issues are kind of unrelated to if you want to actually use Xcode 11. These are definitely edge cases. And yeah. The only thing interesting worth noting on what is math? I think I'm looking at the wrong one. Jesus Christ. Okay, so Xcode 11, they are now supporting the Combine framework. So Combine is coming out. I can't remember exactly where they talk about this. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Max Code. What's good? Once I entered a bar and tried to do a Chinese accent. There to order a drink. It went alright, I guess. Except that I got chased by a mountain goat. Where in the world did the mountain goat come from? Did the mountain goat? Did it come from the bathroom? Jesus is not God. He's a prophet. Dude. Yeah. So, again, on a more serious note, some questions that I have about, let's say, Swift is, I think Swift UI is a little bit confusing. And I guess when I say confusing, I mean, like, when will it be officially supported? So that's the question I really want to have answered here. Well, how do you work this thing? Jesus. Okay, so this. And command enter. And get rid of that line. Question mark. And we're good. Okay. And the other question I want to have answered quickly is so are we abandoning UI kits?
That's another question. And I mean, we all know the answer to this question right now. UI Kit's gonna be around for, I would say, the next 5 years. What do you guys say? I'm gonna, if I was a betting man, I would put the timeline on UI Kit for the next 5 years, and after that, you'll probably see a split of maybe like 60% UI Kit and then 40% SwiftUI. That's my prediction. But before we can really see the effects of SwiftUI, we have to see if it's actually capable of being ran on production software. In terms of security, is Swift getting more or less secure? I wouldn't think that security is impacted at all, because SwiftUI just runs a regular, plain old Swift. So that's that. How's the benefits of using Swift over Flutter? I don't know. I would consider that a bad question. So Flutter versus SwiftUI, I would consider that a bad question. I mean, they're unrelated technology. So, and also, how's the benefits over Flutter or React? Again, another bad question is Flutter versus React Native versus Swift UI. I would consider that another kind of a bad question. It's kind of like going into an Apple developer conference and asking about JavaScript. That's pretty equivalent, I would say so. Oof, big oof. I thought you retired. Professor Brain did retire. Professor Brain. But I am back. Back from the dead, everybody. Back from the dead. Oh boy, everybody. The resurrection of the professor is commencing. JavaScript is the devil. It's not that bad. I kind of like JavaScript. Yeah. There's a lot of different types of programmers out there. Myself, I don't focus on like how bad a language is. And this is what I recommend that you guys do the same thing. Don't get frustrated with, a language that sucks in your opinion, because I can always find the faults of every language. But instead of doing that, I mostly focus on why this language is better than this language in this regard. And then you just, try not to focus on the negatives. JavaScript is great. It allows us to build websites so easily with libraries like React. Yep. Nice to have you back. Indeed. You should make a horror movie. A horror movie. Shall we call it Swift UI? Not Swift UI's flexibility. Will it be ported to older iOS releases? No. Swift UI will not be ported to the older releases of iOS. Swift UI is only supported by Xcode 11 and also iOS 13. And so a lot of people are asking me about the courses and how I'm deciding to update and keep the code updated. So I will probably go through the content, and something that is also worth considering is right now Xcode 11 is still in beta. So what that means is the software is kind of shit. Beta software is kind of shitty. It crashes and crashes and crashes. And when it crashes,
your computer just fails to load certain applications. Yeah, I probably wouldn't count on anyone releasing any type of Xcode 11 related content just yet. So everything is still kind of, you have to wait till the dust settles. You don't know exactly what's supported yet. The combined framework has finally been like officially supported with Xcode 11 beta 2, and we'll have to figure out from today on what else is coming down the pipeline. Yeah. Let's see. Some developers suggested me to wait until SwiftUI officially released before learning it. What do you think, sir? I think SwiftUI is quite interesting, but you should never trust the beta software. Beta software is very, very unreliable. Is it possible to combine SwiftUI with auto layout using constraints? Is it possible? Auto layout and SwiftUI aren't like they're not really the same technology space. So if you know auto layout, then you know how to build things using UIKit. I would consider SwiftUI a totally different layout system. So, yeah. So not auto layout, but SwiftUI relies really, really heavy on stack views, and other frameworks also rely on stack, like a stack system. So for example, in JavaScript, HTML, there's this flex box layout that allows you to lay out things left to right or up and down, and then center things horizontally and vertically along those respective axes. And with auto layout, you're kind of laying everything out in absolute coordinates. Not absolute, but you have to specify like 4 coordinates: top, left, right, width, and height. And you have the flexibility of, stretching views out if you want to. Doing that is like okay. And if you've seen Android programming, they also started with this foundation for building out UI inside of an Android app. And then as Android evolved, they also moved on to something that's more flexible. So now there's like this, it's more relative in terms of like the contents inside of the canvas. And so SwiftUI is now, again, moving towards the like relative-ish layout instead, which I think is a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Luis Ramirez. Hi, I'm from Argentina. How many hours a day do you program? How many hours a day do you program? Back in the good old days of actually doing it full time, I would say like 5 to 6 hours on a good work day. When I'm building out these courses, there's like a lot of coding, a lot of recording, uploading, editing. It's more involved, but less coding. TRM, does Mvvm better for SwiftUI? Yeah, if you watch the WWDC talks that they had this year, there were specific moments during the videos where they addressed the MVC model for like the code architecture, and then they specifically said that they realized over time that MVC just wasn't flexible or wasn't sophisticated enough to support a lot of apps out there. So, over the last 5 to 6 years, everyone's gotten so much more experience with iOS app making, and just the entire landscape of building out apps has evolved over time. And then as we see the evolution, like we all started with MVC, then now we're kind of at the Mvvm / React architecture paradigm, and every app out there utilizes many different features of Mvvm with a React library. And there's many reasons for that. I probably don't want to go into too much detail as to what these reasons are, but that's what the trends are looking like. So on the stage, the Apple developers that were speaking about it, they said to really think carefully about using Mvvm now instead, because they also presented a test case on stage, and they said with Mvvm you can test your code a lot easier and it's more straightforward. And I think I put up a couple of videos on this channel already, and they pretty much said the exact same thing. Maybe they watched the channel themselves and then they used my ideas. I don't know. I'm going to say, here's one thing I'll say. A lot of my ideas, I feel like, have seeped into the Apple thinking. A lot of the content that I present on this channel, like these H stack, V stack ideas, some of the Mvvm stuff that I've talked about, it's not a big secret. Like, I'm not going to claim that I came up with this stuff, but it seems like everyone's trending towards the same direction, which is good. So Amit says, I still feel the standard UI kit is much more flexible, but intrigued by some of the SwiftUI bits, so thinking of developing a mixed framework. Your thoughts? My thoughts in terms of developing a mixed framework, I wouldn't do it. And Professor, like, I wouldn't go out of my way to make SwiftUI into something that is not, especially during the first 1 or 2 years. And SwiftUI is going to evolve from today and the next year, and then probably SwiftUI version 3 is probably the most stable one that we'll see, just like Swift 3 was the most stable one. And yeah, we've seen this before, right? You've seen this before. Technology evolves over time. You can't see the final version until maybe the fourth year. The fourth release is the lucky release. Everyone seems to get their shit together on the fourth release. Like Swift 3.2 was 80% there. Swift 4 was more 98% all the way to where we want it to be. And then Swift 5 kind of pushed it over to the last 99%. And then again, we'll see the same evolution with SwiftUI. Let's not try to, let's not try to force Swift UI to be something that it's not. Yeah. Swift 2 was a shit show. No, let me take that back. Swift 1 was a total shit show. Swift 2 was okay, we see all this shit here on the Swift language. Let's clean up some of the shit. But, we can't clean up all of it, so we'll leave some of it behind. Sweep it under the floor. It's still there, but most people won't see it. Only the people that dig under the floor will see it. And we'll take care of that later down the road. So Swift 2.1, Swift 2.2, they cleaned up a lot, and then they fully fleshed out the entire system when Swift 3 came out. There's still some little rough edges around the language, and then that got cleaned up with Swift 4. So it was great. It's good to be part of this evolution. Okay. Helton says, what features do you think would make SwiftUI even better? So that's a good question. What features would make Swift
UI even better. Okay, what features would make SwiftUI even better? So having played around with SwiftUI for 2 weeks now, um, the most annoying and most frustrating thing about SwiftUI right now is the lack of like auto completion help, and I don't really know if there's any solution to this problem. For example, when we're building out front-end JavaScript components, there's really no autocomplete. You basically have to know for the most part what you're doing. And when I'm developing SwiftUI apps, I get the same feeling. The autocomplete, the editor doesn't help you much. And when it does, it's like you kind of want the autocomplete to go away, actually. I would kind of prefer the autocomplete not be there because it's so unreliable. But yeah, I think somehow, some way, if the editor could help you a little bit more, I think that would push SwiftUI into the hands of developers a lot quicker, in my opinion. Something that I'm looking forward to a lot that hasn't even been talked about is like Catalyst. So what's happening with iPad apps and Catalyst? Supposedly, when Craig was on the stage last Monday, he was talking about there were two companies in particular. There was Atlassian, the guys that make the source code Bitbucket, and there's also Twitter. They were both announced as two companies that made ported their iPad apps into the Mac OS. They said that they got things working within, I think, 1 day for Atlassian and about a week for Twitter. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Catalyst. I haven't been able to get any type of prototype up and running for Catalyst. So if anyone has information about like how to actually start a Catalyst app, let me know. I would love to read some documentation about it. So let's see, keyboard. This is another question that I had. Dismissing and calling the keyboard. I have no idea how that's done just yet. I don't even know. Like, I don't think the list view supports the automatic like keyboard scroll bar, like adjusting the scroll bar automatically and stuff like that. I don't know what's the deal with the keyboard just yet. I mean, the other thing, so keyboard management. Let's praise someone from Apple is watching. Keyboard management. If someone on the Apple team could implement a solid fix for developers not having to deal with keyboard code, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Where is the Professor Brain? Everybody. Professor Brain, I thought everybody wanted the professor to go and retire. Go retire from the channel. The channel. People leave a lot of mean comment about the professor. The professor very sensitive. When he read a bad comment, professor get very sad. And then he go hide in the corner. Then he cry for a little bit. Wait until professor cry a little bit more. Then maybe professor come back and entertain you. Professor entertaining. I know. I like to watch professor too. When the professor come out, when he decide the right moment, he surprised everybody with the return. Return of Professor. That's the new movie coming to a theater near you. I hope you pre-order your ticket. Maybe at the Blockbuster. You know Blockbuster. Some of you guys too young to know about the Blockbuster. Do you guys remember the Blockbuster? The store you go in? You go in the store. You walk around the wall.
Then you pick out the movie you want to take home and watch. Today we got Netflix. The Netflix takeover. Netflix takeover with the streaming. You know, you go to the supermarket right now. You see the big red box. You know the red box? You go in and you take a DVD out the red box. Who the hell does that? I have no idea how to use the red box. I just open Netflix. My Apple TV. You see this? No, you can't see it because the camera is cropped off. The camera cropped off. You can't see. Oh my god. Okay, I show you the Apple TV. You see the Apple TV? Oh no. Oh. There right there. The Apple TV. This guy. Oh my god. And down there, the giant router with the three long stick. You know what the 3 long stick is good for? You know, 3 long stick. You can only imagine. You guys know 3 long stick. Oh, I know you know the 3 long, very long stick. Some of you guys not so lucky to have the 3 long stick. I know, I'm one of those guys. Not very lucky. I only have the 3 short stick. You know what you can do with 3 short stick? Oh, there's a lot of secret trick with 3 red stick. We are getting very childish today. Okay, I keep talking like this until people run away from the stream. I delete the stream today. Today, I delete the stream. Normally, I leave the stream up, but this time I delete. You know why? People get very mad. People don't like the Chinese accent. How come I look like a Chinese guy? How come I can't do the Chinese accent? Don't tell me. People on internet try to tell me what to do. Try to tell the Professor Brain what to do. No, Professor Brain will not be held down by the man. The man, you know the man? No. Professor, no. Oh. How come the professor talks so funny? What's up? What's up, Jamie Davis? No.
The great tutorials lately. The great tutorials. I try my best to produce the greatest tutorials on the internet. How about we spend the last remaining 15 minutes here? I'm going to leave out after 15 minutes, so someone remind me to get the hell out of here. I've been doing a lot of like YouTube searching on SwiftUI and what's available on the YouTubes with the SwiftUI. And I see a lot of content from Paul Hudson. From the Paul Hudson, the only British guy on the internet. And then there's a lot of other people, including Max, who's out there. And then, yeah, a lot of people just pushing out SwiftUI content. I'm kind of tired of the SwiftUI, actually. So I might just hold off a little bit on SwiftUI. We also have Code with Chris pushing out the SwiftUI stuff. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Everyone's trying to get in on the show. After doing this for so long, you can tell like who's gonna be here or who's gonna stick around for the long haul and who's not. Even people like Code with Chris, like, I don't know, how come he doesn't push out more videos? Does it take that long for him to produce those videos?
maybe you should stop caring about your video. Just push it out. Don't need to edit. Like the professor brain. You push the content. You hit the record button. You hit the release. You hit the upload. Then you're done. No need to edit. I don't even have an editor. Does it look like I have the money to hire an editor? No. Professor brain, no money for the editor. You know why? Because I don't really care. I just record the content, hit the upload, and done. All done. Don't need to think about it. So easy. So simple. You need to learn from the professor. Very, very, very efficient with the recording. You know? Okay. Soak. Marakek. See you later. A stack, B stack. UI kit isn't that bad. Yes. Yes. One thing I feel like I'm missing in the SwiftUI is scroll view did scroll. I'm hoping the ability to bind that offset will be available in the future release. Yes. Yes, everybody. Yeah, speeding up development. Here's one thing I'll say. I don't produce content for beginners on the channel. I think I've said this before. I don't focus on beginner content. So if anyone, I appreciate people that watch the stuff that I put out there. Really, really happy that people are finding it useful. And lately in the comments for a lot of the SwiftUI related videos, you get some very newbie people. They're coming into the videos and they ask some very newbie question. I'm not going to name, but some newbie question. So I do apologize. I apologize if I don't answer the newbier questions. And I don't really know why I don't answer it. I guess I just find those questions really boring, so I don't answer those questions. So it's not really the questions are bad. I'm bad. It's me. It's not you. It's me. So sorry. Sorry I had to leave you and not be the man you expected me to be. I know I made promises in the past, and I know I tried to keep the promises, but because things haven't been easy lately, I have to leave. Even though I told you we were going to be here together forever. It's unfortunate that that's not going to be the case. We'll have to part ways. You'll be better off. You'll find a better person. You'll find the one. The one, unfortunately, is not me. Have a glass of wine and start answering questions. Is it just me, or is Xcode just not fast enough to catch up to the Swift development? Aaron Hawkins, where do you write a regular code? In Swift UI? Well, Aaron Hawkins, Swift UI is not similar. It's not very similar. It's not very similar to the old traditional UI kit view controller development style. Oh shit. Wish more of my team would watch the channel and start building better apps than the current shit being delivered. Oh. So I was hosting Father's Day here. Do you guys want to see the... So this is just my living room right here. It looks kind of like a green screen. I promise you it's not. Oh no. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. Maybe this is even better. Maybe I'll just record videos super zoomed out. And there were like 6 kids running around this entire place. None of the kids are mine. You know, no kids of my own. A very non-responsible adult here. And I was just cleaning up. Earlier, I cleaned up a little bit. Made this place a little bit more presentable. And yeah, that's kind of how my weekend went. Fun stuff. Is this focus? Am I in focus? No. My face looks super long in this camera angle. Okay, so that is gonna be it for today. What do I do with the courses? So I think for the rest of this week, I'll look into making a course that is more SwiftUI compatible. Try to get more used to SwiftUI and how to teach you guys how to use it correctly. So that's the key word. Like, using SwiftUI correctly is still the big unknown in the landscape of Swift development. So we have to really think about how to execute, just developing a good application using the correct patterns in SwiftUI. And a lot of those patterns are going to come from RX Swift, Reactive Cocoa, and like React.js and Redux, state management, combine framework, figuring out everything that we can do more efficiently compared to the good old days of UI kit traditional development. Yeah, I think I'm going to just refer to traditional UI kit development using this terminology. One thing regarding SwiftUI, they sure did throw out the storyboards. I don't know what they're going to do with the storyboard, really. I was watching some of the WWC videos. When they were giving the demos up there, they were still using the storyboard for some of the non-sophisticated demos. So I don't know what they really do internally with their development. I just know that they're still using it for whatever reason. And as much as I like to shit on storyboards, I used to use them too. So they're very powerful. They make for an excellent tool to get up and running. So if you need something that will take you like 90% of the way, storyboards are fine. But if you need to expand and make your app much more versatile and like components are much more easier to extend using just pure code. When your app becomes used by a million different users and you need to build like 4 features that are somewhat similar but are different in like 1 or 2 different ways, then you need to build out a library that can support these 4 features, but you want to introduce some diversity among these features as well. So doing this is very difficult with like a visual editing tool. For the most part, code is like the easiest way of doing this, if not the only. And again, I'm not really surprised that most people that are watching YouTube videos, they've never ran into this use case before, because you really need to have at least over 100,000 users before you even think about you can even think about like expanding your app to this level of complexity.
So most people won't see this progression unless they're working on a serious application. Yeah. Okay, that's another good question. How is SwiftUI going to affect the past tutorials? Well, unfortunately, YouTube videos are kind of frozen in time. They're just a slice of time that we can't modify. So past tutorials, not a whole lot we can do about the past videos. For my courses on letsbuildanapp.com, those courses might be updated later on. Nothing that I can guarantee right now because no one knows what SwiftUI is going to look like in its final version just yet. Whenever the final version comes out, we'll have to hammer out those details when that time comes. So everything is TBD, just to be determined. UML, is that like the unified modeling language? Is that just where you draw boxes and arrows? I think that's UML, right? I personally don't do a lot of UML diagramming myself. And it's not because I don't find UML helpful. It's more like as a one-person team, everything's inside of your head anyways. So I personally don't use a lot of visualization tools because I don't really need it for myself as a solo team. If I have 3 or 4 people on the same team, then yeah, I would draw out those diagrams just so that everyone can get on the same page. And it's a really helpful tool. I recommend everyone to do it if their team is large enough to warrant the actual diagrams. Does SwiftUI support the idea of cell reusability? Can you use SwiftUI with an infinite data set? Probably. I don't see why not. Apple knows what they're doing. So if they're not using cell reusability, then that would be a major misstep on their part. Misstep? Is that the right word? Yeah, misstep. Okay, here's another bad question. By using SwiftUI, so anyone that talks about auto layout and SwiftUI in the same sentence, that's what you would call a bad question, because you probably don't understand. You don't understand the two like frameworks if you're asking that question. New collection view stuff will be helpful. Yep. I was trying to dig through some of the UI collection view data source, and I think there's 2 important classes now. There's the data source one, and then there's also something else. But there's like a new way of building out your cells, your rows inside of a collection view that you don't have to deal with the index path anymore. Which is okay. I have my own library that allows me to get away from all of that code as well. IGListKit kind of does the same thing. Everyone has their own version of like this dynamic, flexible list view. And if Apple wants to come up with their own way that is more universal and standardized, then that would be helpful. But having said that, I looked at some of their UI collection view code on stage while they were at WWDC. I wasn't totally impressed. It seemed like the code was more verbose than what it is right now. So when I say verbose, some of the methods, oh my god, they're so freaking long. Like there's like 5 parameters, and then there's a little huge ass sentence that describes something. So I really hate these long ass methods. But that's what they decided to go with. I'm not totally impressed. I think I will be more inclined to using it after I play around with the libraries and what the available APIs are. Yeah, just like any other technology. It takes a while to get used to it. There's also the UI. There's also UI. Oh my god, Max, you made me forget. Okay. UI collection view flow layout. Currently in traditional development, traditional UI kit, you have to build out your own collection view layout component. And that component is very hard to extend yourself. I built out my own custom layouts before, and doing that is not so easy. But it's not so easy, but it's not so hard either. I didn't look at the collection view layout video in its entirety. I heard some small snippets about it. The guy said that it should be a lot easier to make your layouts now, your custom layout. Don't know exactly what he means. I'm a little afraid whenever someone tells me about new stuff with the collection view layout. A little apprehensive, a little anxious about new things I have to learn about that class. That's the class I want to touch the least. I'm pretty sure if you've played around with the collection view flow layout yourself, you probably agree with me on that one. Probably. So Tubal. Item groups and section looks great, but I'm put off by data source stuff. Yeah. Some of the things that they went over seemed like a good idea. And then there were other things that were, this seems like more work than what we have currently. So it's like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Overall, I guess you're improving the entire development experience. Not sure of it all just yet. Yeah. So everyone knows that I develop mostly everything using a collection view. I'm glad that everyone's become more comfortable with a collection view. So now doing things with it is going to be a lot easier. Like, I'm just really glad that I present the things that I want to present. I'm really glad that everyone is able to pick it up without me having to over explain everything. So like all that the easy shit, we can gloss over that right now because everyone knows how to do it. There's already a million videos on the internet how to do the easiest list view thing. I think maybe what they're really trying to do with the collection view flow layout, and here's my theory. When you're talking about an iPad app and the screen's bigger, you have more flexibility in terms of what you can do with the layout of your items. And if you take that 1 step further, when you're working with Catalyst and you're converting your iOS iPad app into a macOS app, the layout system for the macOS is different as well. So if you have an easy way to transform the layout and customize it in an easier, more universal way, then maybe that means through Catalyst, you can just build out apps easier on the macOS. You don't have to rely on whatever layout system they have. Just use the layout, and then you'll be fine with your app. So maybe they're making this progression starting from now, and then 1 year down the road, we'll see the full scope as to what they want to do. Right now, everything's kind of like a guess on everyone's part. Flutter instead of SwiftUI. Again, anyone that mentions Flutter and SwiftUI in the same sentence, it's kind of like saying I like JavaScript over Swift. Okay, all right, cool. That's like a kind of a weird thing to say, but I get it. Collection views are still a question that has kind of gone unanswered. So horizontal layouts So horizontal layouts are still something that you can only take care of with a horizontal scroll view, which I think it's okay. We don't need all the cell recycling and cell reusing for a horizontal list view. And the main reason is because for the most part, horizontal scrolling list views, they don't repeat beyond like 20 items. And your phone can handle a list of 20 items very, very efficiently. But when you're talking about a vertical list of like 1,000 to 2,000 items, if you don't have recycling in that view, then your app's going to take up a lot of memory. The OS is most likely gonna terminate your app. So if anyone's wondering like why they didn't present a horizontal collection view, maybe that's the reason. That's my guess, at least my theory. Let's see. So for beta 2, what I'm going to do for the rest of today is I'll start playing around with beta 2. I want to figure out some of the combined framework, like how to operate some of this new combined framework code. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of like tutorials on combined framework, even on the Apple website. I hope they address this lack of combined framework tutorials fast, because they seem really gung ho and excited about this combined, the theory behind their own combined framework. So if developers can get their hands faster on this content, then it'll just help. It'll help them. It'll help us. Well, mostly it'll help me, you know. 2-ball. Oh, 2-ball. Let's not get 2-ball confused with anything else. Yeah. Thomas England, we are just scratching the surface. Yep. Environment objects will be helpful. That video on my Twitter account, I linked a link to one of the most useful videos on WWDC this year. So if you're interested in figuring out the environment object stuff, how to utilize it with SwiftUI and the preview panel on the right side, that video, they go through a lot of different use cases and how they utilize that tool. And then they like propagate environment objects from like the top at the root. They propagate some of the environment down to certain components, like further down in the UI. And then they show you how it's done, or at least they show you how they do it. I tried to do some of this stuff on my own Xcode beta. Didn't work. Okay. Did not work at all. Oh. Mr. Raycaster, will there be iPad specific tutorials because the iPhone ones don't scale to iPad? What are my thoughts on this? So having developed like iPad apps and iPhone apps, I would say that if you know how to make a good iPhone app, you know, laying out everything, then you should be able to translate that to the iPad sizes, right? There's not a lot that you have to do that's different. You still use your collection view and whatnot, I would think. Yeah, some of Apple's demo code just doesn't seem to run at all. I don't know why. Their code, like some of their environment code, doesn't work. You think that you're doing something wrong, but you realize that the Xcode, the version that they released, just hasn't been updated with everything that they want to provide. So it's still like it's not obsolete, but the full features of Xcode 11 aren't released just yet. I guess they're still working on it. I don't understand their release process, to be honest. If they're still working on it, then why do they announce everything without having a version that's compatible with what they demo? Like, this stuff can't be that hard, right? It can't be that hard. Famous last words. It can't be that hard. I noticed they use slides instead of demos for many presentations. Yeah. They I mean, if you're giving a demo at WWDC, you had better be using slides. If you're gonna try to use the Xcode editor, that shit's gonna fail. You're gonna have it like this. You're gonna have demonstrators. You're gonna have presenters on stage just fucking up everything, and it's gonna look so bad, especially on this live, the live stage. Everyone's watching. You don't want to fail if you don't have to. Slides are the best way of doing things. You know how it goes. Demos are very hard to manage. Okay, it is quickly becoming 5 o'clock here today. I am, that would be a site, yeah. Okay, so last thing we'll talk about, remember last year when WWDC was held? Last year, they had this, race car demo that some race car company was responsible for showing this on-stage AR. I think it was AR. And, I think it was, maybe it was AR or something with machine learning. They totally failed on stage, and they couldn't even get the car running, if I recall correctly. It was pretty embarrassing. And I think they're trying to avoid live demos that go wrong. They're trying to avoid that now. Although the guys that did the Minecraft demo this year, they did a pretty good job. That could have been a shit show, but they managed to get through the entire thing without anything blowing up. Hello. You can't really start building an app using SwiftUI right now. You can't. Blooding up one of the audience members. Not a production. A production application. Now here's a perfect question here's a perfect question. I'm new to mobile programming. Would you recommend starting to learn SwiftUI, React Native, or just UIKit for finding a job? Oh, that's such a great question. Such a great question, isn't it? Isn't it, everyone? If you're just trying to find a job, these are the least of your concerns, I guess. It takes a lot more to get a job than just knowing these 3 technologies. That's right? I hope that's right. You just gotta learn. Okay, when people are trying to find a job, when people are just trying to get hired to work somewhere where they get paid to write code, the company doesn't care if you know this one thing or this other thing or that third thing. They don't care. They just want to know that you're a smart person. You know how to read code. You know how to look through the code that the company has, and that you're somewhat of a decent communicator. Those are the things that they're looking for. I've been on that side of the hiring table where we interview like 20, 30 different candidates for like 2 to 3 positions. And we do that for 2 to 3 months, right? Every other day, you have to go in this little small room and you sit across from this guy that wants to work for your company. You give him even you're tired of giving those stupid interview questions every time. And then when you're giving your questions, you're really bored. That guy like doesn't know what he's doing, and then he fails miserably. And at the end of the day, sometimes you see the guy fail, but if he really tries hard and he's like able to get halfway to the answer, you see that he's asking the right questions. He just isn't able to get to the answer on that day. Then you go, oh yeah, I like this guy. You can see that, or I can see that I can teach him what he needs to know on the job and what he needs to implement. I see that he's really giving an honest effort. So these are the things that we need to see. We don't care if you know like this technology X, Y, and Z. That doesn't matter. So people that are like, oh, I want a job. What technology do I need to know? That's like the wrong question to even ask. That's the wrong way of thinking. That's why you don't have a job, because you think like that. That's the honest truth. It might be a brutal feedback, but you got to stop thinking like, oh, I need to know this thing here to get a job. It's like, it's not the way people get jobs. And again, that's why you don't have a job, because you think like that. Okay, what a fun and interesting stream for today's lesson. Two Ball says, hiring managers are starting to complain about web-trained Swift engineers who know nothing else. I can see what you mean. I can see that. So the internet instructors, internet online teaching, they can only teach you so much with like a specific branch of that technology. So let's just use maybe JavaScript, for example. There's like a couple of different channels that teach you some stuff. That stuff is pretty useful. You can build a lot of web-related apps using that technology. And when you get hired as like a front-end developer, for the most part, you'll be able to use that technology to get going and ramp up with what you need to do on a job. Same thing with Swift development. Instructors can only teach you so much. However, I feel like Swift development is more, it's a little bit harder than web development. I would say web development with like a React.js Angular framework is just pretty easy. With Swift development, Swift is more programming oriented. If you have a hard time figuring out how to look through documentation, how to try different things with the code, make Xcode do what you want it to do, then you might have a hard time like impressing your superiors at work. And yeah, I mean, I just hope to be able to show everyone how I go about developing an app. But again, there's like a lot of stuff I do cut out. You don't see the debugging process. Everything just magically works every time I run it, which it's not the real. That's not the real workflow. Shit goes wrong almost every other run, or things go wrong like 5 times out of every 6-7 runs. I hope people realize that. I hope. I certainly do hope. Okay, enough of me babbling on for the rest of the stream. I'm gonna have some Father's Day cake, which was left in my refrigerator. I'm gonna eat it very begrudgingly and pretend like I'm not enjoying it. And I hope you guys have a nice rest of your Monday.
I'm also going to look through some of the Xcode 11 beta docs, and if they have combined framework tutorials, I will try to look for it. Jacob Isam, thanks for thanks for being the man for so many years. Yeah, no problem. I'm just here trying to learn how to program like the rest of everyone. I think I mentioned this earlier about the silly videos that were uploaded a couple of days ago. I think I'll make more videos like that because I just like experimenting. If people don't like it, I don't really care. Like honestly, those videos when I criticize, when I talk about the mean comments in those videos, it's just fun. I just find it fun. I like to have a little bit of fun. So if you don't like it, that's fine. I know not everyone's going to like it. I tend to find them very enjoyable. And maybe that's just me. They're very silly. They get the most dislikes on the channel. You see the dislike ratio in those videos? Oh my god. I also find people that dislike videos to be another very entertaining part about making YouTube videos. I know like a lot of people, okay, I'm going to talk for 5 more minutes and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. And yeah, so Two Ball says, why not start another channel for the fun stuff? A lot of reasons why managing 2 channels is really hard. Like just technically having your Chrome browser switch between 2 different accounts. Like maybe you'll dedicate another browser like Safari to the other account, and then you upload there, and then you hit the release here, and then it's not challenging, but it's not something that I look forward to doing. So yeah, if people don't like it, they don't have to watch it. So be it. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, whatever happens, happens. People that want to stick around for the tutorial content, they'll stick around. It's not like there's like other options anyways, right? There's not a lot of people putting out Swift content out there, so I get to do what I want because I'm so niche down that all you guys have is me. Where else are you gonna go? Paul Hudson? You gotta go to Paul Hudson, guys? You gonna cheat on me with Paul Hudson? Don't tell me you're gonna cheat on me with Paul Hudson. Nah, go subscribe to Paul Hudson's channel. Really good guy. I like his British accent. And like he puts out some of the best Swift blog. I don't know what you call his webpage or his website. Ton of good Swift stuff on that site. So give him a subscribe on his channel as well. Whatever makes me happy. Yeah. Why your voice changed? Yeah. Okay. He has something I don't have. He has a lot that I don't have. Let's just admit the cold hard factor. He has a dog. In addition to the dog, like he's a really good speaker. I think that he has a very nice voice to him, and that's not my thing. Like I was never meant to be on this camera thing to do the thing for you guys. So yeah. Yeah. Like I'm happy to do what I do. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up here. He's too much of a drill set. Let's not drill sergeant. Yeah, everyone has their strong suits, strong characteristics, strong attributes to their personalities. Maybe a discussion. I was gonna make a video about roasting other iOS YouTubers. That might still be something that I release this week. I just roast other people, just for the hell of it. and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. See, this is what I can do. I can actually make like videos that are just not serious at all. And now that I've already introduced this really nonsensical character on the channel, I can do fun stuff. And it opens up the possibilities, for me at least. Yeah. You know, we can't always be talking about programming, am I right? Okay. Would I create a class on udemy.com? Maybe I'll roast some Udemy websites. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Enough of me. All right. Finally, I'm checking out, having some cake, and I will see you guys later. Where's the stop button?